Men of Reddit, what innocent behaviors have you changed out of fear you might be accused of wrongdoing? I don't volunteer with kids as much. I've got 4 kids, 3 the same age. So when my kids were in the nursery at church, my wife typically volunteered from time to time. I stepped in to do her shift one week when she was sick. About 15 minutes in, I was told that having a male in there made other parents uncomfortable. Out of 5 kids in there, 3 of them were mine. Walking behind women, especially at night and or if they're alone, it seems like I'm following them or something when I'm just trying to get to a destination. I try and cross the road if I can, but it's stuck in proper alarm bells if the woman does it too. And what can I do? Shout, hey, I'm not weird. Don't be afraid. I'd be better just sitting and waiting for them to get far ahead. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm a little boy. She started walking faster, so I thought, oh, she must hear the train coming. People get really weird when I discipline my daughter, like since she's a little girl she should be able to do anything she wants. I've experienced this. What the hell is it? I'm a woman. I was walking home with my son and his friend, a girl, and her dad. She ran out into the road despite her dad shouting at her not to. He was telling her off when this group of women appears and told him not to shout at her as she was a girl. He rightfully told them to mind their own business, but they tried to get me on their side. Like because I'm a woman I'd be against a male friend discipling his daughter. I told them to walk on. I work as a manager at a fast food place, so I work with a lot of teenagers. Pretty much I have to play people a lover, so I don't accidentally bump into one of them. We've had a lot of young managers date the crew and do inappropriate things, so I want no part of that liability. I used to work at Domino's as a delivery driver. Whenever I wasn't on a delivery, I'd help out on the phones or whatever. Everything was fine until we hired this stupid young overweight girl. I'm a big guy myself, and the space behind the counter was already tight enough, but it seemed like this girl did everything she could to take up as much space as possible. I did everything I could not to touch her as I moved past her, but it was impossible to not touch her at all. Eventually, she complained to the manager. Thankfully, the GM was an awesome old lady, and I was her most reliable driver, and she basically told me if I wasn't on a run to either man the oven or help out on the line and just stay away from the crazy girl. Soon after, she tried to do the same thing to another coworker and the manager fired her for creating a hostile work environment. Looking up when walking upstairs, IDK always paranoid someone will accuse me of stealing glance. If I look eye level, though, I see their butt. What now? Compliments to strangers / acquaintances / co-workers. Nice shoes, nice shirt, hair, etc. I keep it limited to that. Say nothing physical / personality based. When shopping with my wife and she wants to try stuff on, I just have her text me pictures of her outfits if she wants my opinion. We were at Masses a few months ago, and I was just patiently waiting outside the dressing room waiting for my wife, and she would open the door and step out to get my opinion. I was just looking at my phone and minding my own business when I noticed people walking up to me. A middle-aged woman had gotten a manager, and she had brought a security official of some type and asked me to leave or they would be forced to call the police. It was super embarrassing, and now I feel super self-conscious when shopping with my wife. Edit. I checked my phone after cutting grass and saw all the comments. I figured I'd add that I didn't say anything because I'm not a fan of confrontation and I'm a 0 to 100 kind of guy when it comes to emotions, so the best option was for me to leave. So what happened next? I can't help but feel there's another minute or so to this story. I left the store to go sit in my car. I texted my wife what happened, and she came out a few minutes later saying that she just left all the clothes on the floor and said she is not coming back to that Masses. Sticking to myself at shopping centers. I'm a tall, 6'3", bearded man who grew up in a small town of about 800. So I grew up holding the door for anyone, saying have a nice day or howdy everywhere I go, and help anyone with anything if they need it. It's just how I was raised. One day I was headed to my girlfriend's house and decided to stop at Walmart to grab some snacks on the way down. I was 20 years old at the time, but for as big as I am, and the beard you could confuse me for 25 to 30. Anyhow, I was standing in the chip aisle and noticed a little girl no older than 5 wandering around looking frightened. So I walked over and said, "Are you lost?" And she just kept saying mommy, so instantly trying to do the right thing I thought to take her to the cashier so she may call over the loudspeaker and call for her mother. As I walked she held her hand up to hold mine and I thought nothing of it, being as I was only doing the logical thing. Next thing I know the mother runs up to me screaming and snatching her daughter up, calling me a kidnapper and threatening to call the police. I tried explaining the situation and where I was trying to take her. Unfortunately she was an uneducated moron, and at that point I got a little heated and decided to tell her to maybe not let her child run off next time. Moral of the story, I tried to do the right thing, not even thinking about how it would look for a bearded man to be walking with your little girl, even though they shouldn't have been left alone, but it's definitely something I'll never do again. Edit, didn't think this would blow up. I gave it my best shot trying to respond to everyone, but when I came back to 100 replies I lost track a little. I don't help people get through subway turnstiles anymore. I've told this story before, but whatever, here goes. A while back, I was entering the New York City subway and the person in front of me was struggling with the turnstile. She had just swiped her Metro card too slowly, and it didn't register. She tried again and it worked, but when she went through the turnstile the rolling luggage she was pulling along was too far back. It wasn't going through with her, and to make things more confusing, the bag blocked the turnstile from letting her through. I tried to explain to her what was going, but she replied back in French, "I'm pretty sure, and well, I don't speak French." So I pointed down to her bag and said, "Your bag," and pointed to the turnstile. She was confused and tried to swipe her card again, which not only wouldn't have helped, but would have double charged her. So I quickly put my hand on the card swiper to stop her and said, "Don't worry, I'll help." At that point, I grabbed the handle of her bag, the one attached to the bag itself, not the telescoping one she was holding, and told her to go through the turnstile. "Go," I pointed. I lifted her bag over the turnstile as she walked through, helping her past it. I had done a good deed, except she apparently didn't see it that way. I think she thought I was stealing her luggage, because the look on her face was shocked horror, and she ran from the turnstile as fast as a 5 feet 4 inch person with a too big bag can run through the New York City subway, saying something like "no no no" the entire time. When I first traveled to New York City I was going up the escalator at Penn Station and I accidentally bumped into the girl in front of me. I had hit her backpack. I said sorry, but she immediately gave me this awful look and took her backpack off to make sure I hadn't done anything or stolen anything. Welcome to New York, I thought. Walking behind women for a few streets. Feels like I'm following them. Purposely take a turn and sometimes cross the road, or take the long route. Try all the way to their 3rd floor apartment, because you are neighbors. Hopefully she recognizes you by now. Maybe she does, and that is a problem. I won't give women of any age compliments. Not too long ago I was shopping at a local grocery store and saw a girl, maybe 26 to 27, who had this awesome bright orange hair. When I walked by I mentioned it. "Hey, I love the hair color. It looks fantastic." She reported me to the store saying I was soliciting her. I'm a clean-cut 21-year-old guy who had a cart full of groceries. I work in hospitals a lot. Being a big dude around a lot of young tiny nurses is asking for trouble. Sometimes I need to ask them for things, which requires them to walk to a windowless supply closet. It's a spacious room that locks from the outside and from the inside. The supply closets are also safe rooms in case of active shooter events. First time I asked for something I followed the female nurse into the supply closet. The door slammed shut behind me. I didn't really think anything of it, but she slowly turned to look at me with a terrified look on her face. I now hold the door open and wait outside when I need something. Checking the clock at the gym. Sounds stupid, but there's a reason. I like to time my rest between sets and can't be bothered setting a timer on my phone. Anyway, the clock is over the cardio section of the gym, bikes, cross trainers etc, and is almost always occupied by women. Only recently I realized it totally looked like I was checking out chicks' asses, and not in a subtle way, and so I had to stop. Got any similar examples? Leave it in the comments below.